Welcome to the Jira Life, the place to find news, events, and interviews with the Atlassian community's movers and shakers. Because we didn't choose the Jira Life chose us. Thank you to Revise for backing us up and making the Jira Life possible.
Folks, this is perhaps going to be the best episode of the Jira Life ever because Ed's going to teach us how to become millionaires, vibe coding our way through anything that we want to do. Right, Ed?
That's a big ask there, man.
And a million's not enough these days. So
I've already promised I'm going to be taking notes on the site the entire time. So don't guide us wrong here. Don't guide us bad.
I'm going to walk you through what I do, some of my thoughts on this. I honestly think this is freaking the best time ever for developers or non-technical people that have ideas that they want to just get out into the world, because vibe coding has so many different subjective connotations. To me it just means, hey, I'm using natural language to build something, right? I think a lot of times some people say it's non-technical people just developing something and throwing it out there and breaking the internet kind of thing, but I'm sure that happens. But from a vibe coding perspective, I think the spirit of the term that Karpathy coined was that you can use natural language to just start building. You don't have to sit there and pound your keyboard.
So what about those of us who are technical enough that we're dangerous, but not good enough to be called full-fledged developers?
I think that is the sweet spot, honestly, because you have seen enough and have had enough experience and to know where the development might go off the rails, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So if you're truly non-technical and you're using a no-code, low-code application like a Lovable or a Replit, you're just trusting what they're building is going to be what you want, and it's a little harder to verify that. How I set up mine up is I use Cursor just as an IDE, and I'll show you guys here in a second, just because I like to see files and compares, and then I use Claude Code in the terminal as well. But I think, Rodney, that's the sweet spot, because you do understand some of the concepts, right? You understand the concept of source control, right? You gotta make sure you back up your stuff that you're developing. You understand the concept of error logging and debugging. So you've seen a stack trace, right? Back in the old days in data center of Atlassian, you would look at the stack trace, right, in the admin logs, and you would see green hopper.
WTF?
Yeah. So you would understand, and you would see patterns from that error logging on what's going on. So you kind of knew, oh, I see this specific error. That means, 9 times out of 10, this is what's happening, kind of thing.
I want to go back to something you said at the beginning, because it sounded very much like something Sergey Brin said, from the co-founder of Google, where he was in retirement, right? Worth $100 billion. And somebody told him, like, dude, what are you doing? Like, this is the prime of computer science. Like, get back in the office. And so now he's in there. He's writing. He's with Gemini and the deep mind people, and just working day in, day out on this next generation, because this is like the best time to be alive in that software space.
It is. And to keep, on Rodney's point, the people that are kind of dangerous can go way faster now, because they can see where AI may be going off the rails. It's like, hey, I see you're hard coding this value. We don't want to hard code that, right? Or it's doing, some wrong database setup, but I think it'll make you faster now. You go faster.
Or I'm seeing you delete the test units again. No, stop that.
Sean thinks that that's a conspiracy that is built into the money pipeline, because Sean's like, I write an app, I vibe code an app, and then he builds a bunch of tests to like build safeties and guardrails. And then like 3 or 4, maybe 10 iterations down, like it's breaking functionality from the beginning. And he's like, no, dude, you're not supposed to. So then you're just wasting tokens trying to fix the problem that it caused itself. And Sean's like, it's just a conspiracy to, like, it's just a whole thing, like, to just get more money out of you. breaking itself.
You go in that loop I wrote an article on that. I can't remember what I call it. It was some kind of loop of you fix something and then something else breaks. You fix something, something else breaks. So, and again, to Rodney's point on if you're kind of dangerous enough and you've done any kind of development, and even with small bit, of how to produce a requirements document, right? So I think when new people are going into and attacking the vibe coding, I think foundationally, and this is why in my newsletter that I write, I haven't been really tactical on specific tools yet. I've been more conceptual on, let's talk about source control, error logging, things that you might want to know about before you start to get in there, because
it goes fast.
Yeah.
It goes real fast. I was vibe coding, Lena and I spent 3 years trying to build an app for Jira. And in about an hour, we vibe coded the whole thing.
Yeah.
But I got stuck there. I got stuck there for like 20 minutes. And then I went to Lena, and like Lena's more software developer than I am. And she copies pastes the error code into anti-gravity. And like 20 minutes later, we have everything working. And I'm like, I never would have thought to go get the damn logs from Google console.
Yeah. So what I do now is I'll, if I'm developing an app and I'm having an issue, I'll do the F12, open up the console log. I'll just take a screenshot and
go fix it.
Copy it in there and be like, hey, check this out. Maybe with a little arrow for it to show kind of thing.
You inadvertently killed Stack Overflow in like a week.
I mean, that's where their training data came from, right?
Yeah, but I mean, the end of an era, though. I mean, like the amount of times that I was in Stack Overflow in college and even in my professional career was like, I think there should be like a donation place to go give to Stack Overflow.
So I was working for a group. I'm not going to say who they were, but they were a large company. They had recently acquired. Not actually, really, I can't. It's not I won't. It's I can't.
Yeah, bring it up then. This is the Jira Life.
But
you got to bring the whole tea or
they
no
had
tea.
recently done. The whole point is they had recently done an acquisition, and they were doing an analysis of the code base of that acquisition, and they realized they had about 2,000 iterations of code that were direct copies from Stack Overflow that they then had to go back to those people and ask permission to use for the product. And that was just people who were doing the look for it.
Yeah, but the vibe coding stuff, man, it's an amazing time to be alive, and it's an amazing time to just take ideas that you have in your head and just get them out there. Sean and I, we have a DevOps Roundup podcast where we talk a little bit more software development, more AI stuff. And we were watching this video from a product manager at Instagram. And she's like, as a product manager, right, who's a little bit more on the high level requirement side, she's like, we have been told that our responsibility is any idea that we have, we vibe code it first before we even think about it, even send it to the developers or anything like that. And so it just unlocks a lot of opportunity here for technical and non-technical and the like.
Yeah. And, so the most common way to do development is do your spec-based development, right? So you do a requirements document, and then that feeds into your product requirements document, which feeds into, how you're going to split up the work and everything. Anthropic has done away with PRD documents. They call it ant fooding now. They just literally start coding the app and just iterate.
And that's why Atlassian stock is down so much.
And by the way,
we're down to what, $65 today?
Vibe coding, you can validate your ideas so much quicker now. So if you wanted to say, hey, I want to make a barbecue app that lets people find the barbecue joints wherever, and then I want to gamify it, and then I want to implement, some kind of functionality with restaurants, I could throw up in literally 15 minutes, I could have a landing page created to send out to people and then get information and a waiting list, right? So if I can, enough interest is coming in, I can verify, oh, okay, people want to do this. So I can continue now to build this app. Whereas what I've done in the past is just build the app because I thought it's a great idea, and then no one uses it and waste a little time.
Sorry, Sean's distracting us with the size of his table on the side. I wanted to say something important about that though, because one of the things that worries me about vibe coding is that while you can create the application, getting it out to the world is slightly different.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what
It is, and actually,
your experience and thoughts there?
I think
An
I wrote an
observation.
article on the deployment part of it. So it's like you develop this app and you got it running on your laptop on localhost port, 3001. Yeah, there's the Pitmaster Passport one. And so hopefully that works.
No, Ronnie, you got to put drop table in here.
I think Rodney tried that.
I actually did. The first thing I did was drop tables.
Yeah, this one. So I've got version 2 coming. So that one I may have the authorization kind of hosed on that one right now, but
yeah, well.
But again, so that took me, I don't know, a couple days to whip together, right?
Oopsie. I'm trying to get us all in alignment here. There we go. Yeah, no, but it's crazy, right? Like something like this though would have cost you a few $1,000s in a Fiverr contract to get a web developer. Then you got to get the designer. Because the cool part too is you like it's making the assets in addition to the code, right? So it's the design, it's the element, it's the back end as well. Like you would have needed a whole army to build something like this.
That I tell you where vibe coding really comes in handy is after you've developed the app and you go back in and you say, okay, now we need to document the app from a technical perspective for the README file, and if you want to develop it, but also I need the user documentation as well. I need the FAQ section. I need you to go through and point out how we utilize some of the features, and it does an awesome job of just knocking that out.
So is that where we're MCPing back into the Atlassian world? What are your experiences there?
So the MCP is my new obsession because it is just opening my eyes.
You met my friend Becky, right?
What's that?
You meet my friend Becky?
Oh yeah. On LinkedIn, I did.
Yeah.
She okay. She's more obsessed than I am, but still, I'm getting there.
They jumped into the MCP bandwagon and just like ran with it.
Oh,
and then
man,
they sold their company. Like within like 6 or 7 months, like they sold their company. Like they got bought out.
Yeah.
It's crazy how fast these things go.
And if you don't know what MCP is, it's Model Context Protocol, and it came out. Anthropic came it out and introduced it as a common way
Platform?
a common platform for connecting AI to your different applications. So, the whole analogy they use is like the UCB connector for AI kind of thing. So, but what it does is it exposes an LLM to different tools that can be utilized, that you can create to access your different applications. And so, actually, let me share what I have started working on here. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Do you have a copyright for that, Ed? Because we don't want to get copyright stricken.
On what? This MCP?
No, your song.
Oh, dun dun dun. No, yeah. You can see you can see my screen, right?
Almost. One of our producers is gonna get to it. Oh no, wait, our producer's gone.
You're out there, one. You're out there, other one.
My other one.
All right, you guys can see it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So yeah, MCP is my latest obsession here, and so I just got thinking on how can we utilize Atlassian's MCP servers to expand the Atlassian platform across the enterprise. How can we access other systems, your LLM plus Atlassian? And so that's basically what I built out here.
Because Rovo sucks.
I am.
I'll say it out loud. I will say it out loud.
I am one of the biggest detractors of Rovo because it is not very good yet. I know it's probably getting there, but I wanted to experiment with the Rovo MCP server. And so what I did is I built out this demo that is going to run through. I have the Claude LLM. I have an MCP security gateway because you need to have security, because instead of like SQL injections, you can now have prompt injections. So instead of injecting into your database to drop the table, you can inject into, hey, let's wipe out your entire network system kind of thing from an AI perspective.
Scary stuff.
Yeah, so that's why you have the security gateway. Then we have the Atlassian Rovo MCP server, and then I have a live cloud instance that it is connected to. And so
now use vibe coding to build this website, right?
I did. Yeah, I did. So what I do is I usually brain dump my idea onto digital paper, whether it's in Notion or whatever you want.
Voice to text or writing?
Writing. Well, actually, no. I use the it's not Whisper. I use Willow, the Willow dictation app.
Yeah.
And I'll just,
because we're basically building a more kindergarten version of Jarvis at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And so you can see right here, this is going to be the Rovo MCP tools that are exposed. I didn't authorize for Compass, but you have all of your search tools. So this is the MCP server that Atlassian built for Rovo. These are the tools that they have defined that you can use. When you connect to the MCP server, you can execute these tools to say, go get me Jira issues, or transition a Jira issue, or go get me Confluence spaces or pages. So these are all the MCP tools that are available. And so what I did is I hooked up a fictional enterprise /demo to execute these tools and show how they are being utilized. So for example, I have a knowledge base audit demo here. So I click on that. I have a healthcare scenario or a fintech, because those are two highly regulated industries. So if I click on that, it's executing, it's going to authorize. I have a policy and injection scan, PII detection, send it to Rovo, and then get the response, and then log it. And then what I do is explain, hey, for this space call, we executed the get Confluence spaces, and it brought back my healthcare AI space that is associated with that project. And then here are my pages that are in that space. And if I go to the next step, which is going to be...
So where are you getting your inspirations for this?
I was like, okay, Atlassian has this Rovo MCP, right? How are people using it? It's like, I was like, shoot, if I had an enterprise and say I wanted to, pull information from, I don't know, Salesforce, and then do something over in AI, and then have that do something over in Atlassian, how would I do that? MCP server, right?
So this kind of goes in the way of Zapier, but more powerful.
Way more power. See, I think Zapier is going to fade away, because I think the foundational LLMs are going to incorporate workflows, but also these MCP servers give you that workflow capability, right?
But the problem though is the vendor has to make the MCP available, no?
Yes. Yeah. So right now Atlassian has two. They have the
Atlassian and Rovo, right?
Yeah, they have the Atlassian MCP and then the Rovo MCP.
What's the difference for the kids in the audience?
So the actually it's the Forge MCP and then the Rovo MCP. So the Forge MCP, I built a different application to vibe code Forge apps. And so basically it uses Claude Code to say, hey, I want to produce a issue panel that has all the linked Confluence pages. And then it'll use the Forge MCP for the documentation. And then I have another MCP that I built that has the tools that will do the actual actioning. So scaffolding the project, doing the validations, producing the code, and then actually deploy to your cloud instance. So you're right in that you have to actually build the tools, but once you build them, it's so powerful that you can.
But this is kind of where I'm going to stop you here right there, Ed, because let's take my lovely friend Sarah here.
Mm-hmm.
Right. This is obviously not her cup of tea, but someone like Sarah could do this fairly easily. So, but how it explain to me how somebody else who's not so deep into this technical world can get started with this stuff.
Yes. So what I would do is So this is
As we go
my,
into code. Yeah, let's just make this even more harder. Let's just pull out the source code.
yeah, here's the source code. All right.
How do we make this easier for us? Let me tell you. Let's open up a .c++ file.
So this is my setup. This is how I vibe code. This is Cursor IDE, and I only have it because I like to see the files. I like to see when something has been updated, or if I would need to pull in a compare. I have Cursor's agent over here if I want to do a double check, and then down here I have Claude Code. So this is where I do most of my heavy development. But what I do have is my PRD document. And so what I do initially is create these PRD documents. So I will physically talk to the LLM and say, hey, here's my idea. I know Atlassian has this Rovo MCP server. What I want to do is create a demo that will show how, in this case, GSI's global service integrators like Accenture can integrate Atlassian platform with an MCP server. And I'll just talk through, and this is basically the PRD. And when I get through and I ask it if it understands, the LLM will say, yes, I understand. Then I say, okay, can you then create a PRD, a product requirements doc that I can use for my vibe coding efforts. And then what it'll do, it'll actually go through and write all this out for you. It'll say, hey, here's the pain points. Here's what we're trying to do. Here's in
English.
Yeah, in English. Yeah. So like if I'm down here and I use my Willow, carne asada is the best thing ever. So I literally, it makes it exponentially faster to do that. Actually, the best thing that you can do is use the code reviewer plugin agent to review the existing code base and make any recommendations, period. Present the recommendations before executing.
Double space.
Ed, I want you to do that again, but don't talk like a programmer. Don't talk like somebody who has the experience, who knows the vocabulary.
Okay.
Let's see what happens.
Okay, so let me go over here.
You'd be surprised, Sarah.
That's what, right? I don't know that I'll be surprised.
Sean and I, while he's doing that real quick, like Sean and I, when we first jumped into Anti-Gravity, which is the competing product to this, we simply told it, build me a Domino's delivery app. Or no, Sean, what was it? It was literally like, I want to be able to order Domino's. That was like all I told it. And from there, we were able to accidentally deliver pizza to the National Archives Museum in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
Just from that statement of, I want to be able to order Domino's pizza.
Yeah. So for Sarah over here, I'm going to use the cursor agent. Okay. And be like, hey,
build me something cool.
I built this app and it's got a bunch of code. Can you please review the code and make sure nothing is bad or broken?
And tell me what it does.
And then you're going to record ASMR videos too.
Can you imagine Ed the Pitmaster in this episode of...
Let's see, so it's doing the same thing. So over here, Claude was doing this. He spins up parallel ones and is doing this. And this is cursors, and it's doing the same thing. It understands you want to do a code review.
We got a request for you to talk like Batman.
This is the new sleep app, the new sleep app by Ed Gaile.
Which Batman though? Are we talking Adam West? Are we talking
Christian Bale?
I'm a Christian Bale Batman.
Michael Keaton. Hello.
No George Clooney, Val Kilmer.
I was born when that one came out, Sarah.
Just saying.
I was like,
you're gonna have like a Batman voice or Will Arnett, right? Because then you got to go Lego Batman.
So here's the other thing I want to show you guys.
First try.
So here is like the product requirements document for my barbecue app, and this is version 2 that I'll show you guys here as well, because I have a whole experiment that I'm doing, in that I built this. The same Pitmaster's Passport, but I built it in Lovable just to try the no code, low code.
So remind me, Ed, who wrote that document you just showed?
This one was me.
So you wrote that one. Okay.
So I wrote this, but I had LLM help. So I said, again, it was a brain dump of, here's what I want the app to do. Can you put this in a PRD document format? And so, this is, and again, if you're not technical and you don't know what the front end or the back end that you want to use is, just say, recommend what the best practice for this type of app is from a front end and a back end.
Or make it look pretty. Or make it look pretty.
And so, this was basically the app that I wanted to build. And so my experiment was, okay, I'm more familiar with development. And so I like to use, I like to have a lot more control. Thus I use this. So you can come back here and see that Claude has finished the code review, and it says, you've got a couple critical, you've got a couple high and medium. And so you can fix those. This guy's still running. But I know there's a lot of vibe coders out there that aren't quite comfortable with having that. And so they're using like Lovable or Replit. So I wanted to do an experiment. Can I build the same app with a low code, no code, like Lovable? And I was able to. So here's the new version kind of thing. So
Ed, we're 26 minutes into it. You haven't taught me how to become a millionaire.
He's starting to. It's all about barbecue.
What's the business opportunity?
So here you go. So basically, what I love about vibe coding is that you can build a portfolio of artifacts now that you have built and deployed to the world, right? So I can say, if I want to, and the other key thing I think here is, and I wrote an article on this, is I think for people who are looking for their next opportunity, or say, for example, those that got laid off from Atlassian, 2 weeks ago or whatever.
Make their own Jira?
They could. Although Josh got me with his vibe coded Jira. But what I would recommend now is that if you have a specific company or a specific position that you want to get, so say you want to be a product manager, or say you want to be a project manager or whatever, I would go literally to an LLM and say,
whether that be Jippity, Claude, Gemini, right?
Yeah, whatever you use. I'm partial to Anthropic, and I use Perplexity some. But if I were to go to, I don't know, LinkedIn and say, I don't know.
Folks, we don't script our episodes.
Nope.
Although Ronnie would like to think that we use a script.
So, for example,
it's more of a guideline.
If I wanted to go to a specific company, I don't know. I'm just picking Anthropic here because I can use this. And then here we go, Partner Solutions Architect. That's right in my wheelhouse. I'm a solutions architect for Appfire, right? I would literally go here, and then I would say, I got the job here. I would say, hey, I am interested in this job at Anthropic, this Partner Solutions Architect, and I can upload my resume. Can you help me figure out how I can better my resume? But then also what I want to do is create a demo application that I can use to show off my skills in this specific area. Can you help me come up with a demo idea that I can build and show the hiring manager?
Are you not just demoing your AI skills? Not your specific skills. Your specific AI skill.
Kripathi wrote another post right after he invented vibe coding, like 6 months later. He talked about a third wave or the third generation of coding, which is natural language.
Yeah.
What Ed just did, that is software engineering.
Yeah, exactly. So I just physically spoke this and said, here's what I want, and can you help me do this? And it's saying, yeah, I got you. So, here's the strategy. And then it's saying, hey, look, build an AI partner enablement, Copilot. Oh, hey, what did Ed build? What did Ed build over here? It looks like it's an AI enabled partner enablement demo, right? So boom, there's an artifact that you can have now. And if you wanted to, with your resume, send this in and say, oh, hey, by the way, I built this out because, I'm being a little more initiative. And, I read through the job description, and then, based on that and based on my background, I thought this would be kind of a cool demo that we could show you. And then, it's all about trying to stand out now, right? If you send your resume out into the void, you're probably not going to get it. So again, that's how I would approach getting a new, opportunity, or if something fascinated me.
Did you hear Jensen's thing about his $500,000 engineer?
Yeah. So like 250,000 of that is in tokens or something like that.
Yeah. Because he's like basically saying like, it would be as silly as my electrical engineers trying to draw on piece of paper the CAD drawings for a GPU. Like, that's silly. You use the tools that are available to you. So this is the new tool.
And so this is kind of cool. And so this, Alex, this is kind of what I was alluding to, talking about for the Build It Together event, where you have a knowledge-based health score. So you can come in through your MCP and you can, look at your knowledge bases and say, hey, I need to generate a knowledge base score based on, is my information, is it stale? Is it have enough depth? Is there comments? Is there activity? So then I can kind of have a idea of, I've got a healthy one. I've got some that are kind of need attentions, and I got some that are really stale, right? Because they've got no comments, they've got nothing going on for however long. And so that kind of, AI is built on data. And so
I got to do a shameless plug. To see more, come see Ed's talk.
Yeah.
Sign up below.
at Build It Together in Anaheim. We will be talking about something, how you can do this within your Atlassian instance kind of thing. But yeah, so again, I vibe coded this whole thing. And then I even have actions that you can take now that it can be like, hey, based on everything we've gone through, do you want to flag stale sections? Do you want to update page metadata? Do you want to add an audit summary on everything, that you had as a comment in there, right? And then, if I do update the 3 actions, it's going to go.
So Ed, who do you think is at most risk here then? Because clearly you're not being less productive, and clearly you're not being replaced out of a job, but this just means you got more balls in the air, no? That you got to juggle through?
I have a follow-up to that. Go ahead, Ed.
Yeah, I think it's probably you've got faster balls kind of going on right now.
But it requires more mental taxation than your job would have been.
Because honestly, what it does for me, it makes me faster, right? I can whip out if I know of a customer, like for example, for Appfire, we had a customer that wanted to switch from Graphiz to Lucidchart, and there was no conversion app out there in the Atlassian marketplace. I literally in one evening vibe coded a Graphiz to Lucidchart converter, and then just gave it to them. It's like, here, go use this. So I can go proof of concepts or demos in like no time, and then validate them. So it makes me faster from that perspective. And then from, a non-technical person, I think it helps them understand, some of these concepts a lot better, but then get these ideas that they want, even if they're not totally perfect, just get them out, right? So you have your baker that's down the street, and they really just want a website, and then maybe link it to Stripe account. They could literally do that in 15 minutes, 20 minutes if they wanted to, kind of thing. So it's
because Lena and I spent an entire summer once trying to figure out how to link a Stripe account to your website, and it takes an act of God to get that to work.
It's a bit better now. So the awesome thing is, and one thing I will recommend is use MCP servers with your vibe coding. So we're
going to come back to that. I want to get Sarah's follow-up question, but I got a question about that.
Well, it's kind of an ongoing age-old problem, though. So the more we produce, but what is the value of that, right? Because now we can just produce crap faster also, as well as good
Right.
ideas, right? So now we can have busy work, right? We can just do busy work significantly faster, clutter up.
The term you're looking for, Sarah, is called AI slop, and Sean and I have a solution to it, except we need $30,000. If anybody wants to let us borrow $30,000, we're trying to buy the domain AI mop to clean up all the AI slop.
Right? Yeah, because I mean that's like the downside, right? Is if you can do good things faster, you can obviously do bad or valueless things faster.
Your differentiator is going to be you're going to have to be that good kind of thing. You know, you're going to have to be really good, and you're going to have a trust factor that is built in that you can demonstrate from things that you have built and deployed, kind of thing, or that is the downside. You're going to have a ton more stuff out there.
It'll be interesting over time to see from, let's say, levels of leadership out there right now, right? Some of them are going to be highly engaged in knowing what's going on with AI. And then others of them are still going, have the potential to be, oh, look at this shiny new toy and that looks cool, and easily impressed by those things that you can do with it. And just like in the beginning, people were, writing so many posts using AI and they weren't necessarily recognized at the time. So it's like, oh, this is so insightful. This is so great. And now people are like, oh, AI.
Yeah. But the thing is, and I think Alex posted this on LinkedIn, there was some chart or something, because all of us are in it every day. We are in it every day. We use it every day. But I think Alex put a chart on there. It had like all those squares of, how many people, like 80% of people have no idea what AI is. And then there was like 20% was like, or 10% was like, have heard of it. And then like one little dot was like, use it every day. Right.
Oh yeah, it was like almost like a Git repo type of thing.
Yeah, but it was like, the gist of it was that the majority of people still have no idea how to use AI.
Like 99%.
Yeah,
it seems unfathomable. That's
because we're in it every day,
right?
When you scale out to 8 billion people, there's like a handful that use AI every day.
Yeah, but that's my point, right? So when that flips, right? It'll be interesting to see then how people warm to it, right? How people start to identify when it's BS uses of it, when it's actual value producing uses of it, when, you can start to differentiate.
Wait until the cybersecurity part gets more mainstream, right? Like Ed mentioned prompt injection, right? And that's I made a little comment. This is why I don't use Dia. And my comment in there was, right now you can feed most of us type into ChatGPT, and so it's kind of hard to prompt inject that sense because you're typing it in. But Dia, Atlassian's browser, right, you can literally tell it, what am I looking at on the screen, and it will go do things, right? Well, that image could have hidden text that then prompts the AI to do something that you wouldn't know, and there's just malicious underneath the image that you're looking at.
That's why we have the security gateway. If you can pull my screen back up real quick, I'm sharing.
We're all gonna hit it and delete it at the same time.
So there's two things I want to show you here.
This guy's over here building like 1,000 apps a day, and he still only has one monitor. Imagine if you have multiple monitors there, you'd be so productive.
I know.
I know.
All right. So one thing I want to show you is
go fund me for a second monitor for you.
I use a lot of MCPs in my actual vibe coding. So these are the MCPs that I have access to. One of the biggest ones that I would recommend is Context 7, and what that does. So I have the other ones that, Stripe and Vercel and Superbase, so I can just deploy and from a technical perspective, it makes it easier just to do everything from here. From a non-technical person, you probably don't need to worry about this stuff yet, but the one for those that are getting a bit more sophisticated in their vibe coding, I would recommend Context 7, because what that does is that brings in the latest and greatest API documentation of any application. So you're not...
That was going to be my question. And what is the difference, or the pros or the cons, benefits, whatever you want to call it, between using APIs and MCP?
Yeah. So, MCP is going to give you some of that access. But if you have a specific application that you are developing and you need to go get the Google API, or So, or a specific.
You mentioned earlier that only certain companies have MCP servers available, but a lot of companies have public APIs available.
Exactly. And so, until MCPs get a little bit more broader from that perspective, I don't, APIs aren't going away, kind of thing. But if you go to Context 7, it literally is going to give you the up-to-date documents of all your. So, because the problem with the foundational LLMs is they were trained on the history of the internet, right? Well, the history of the internet has API documents from 10 years ago, right? And so if you are trying to vibe code and you get that information, well, more than likely that API has stuff that doesn't work anymore, has been depreciated, and so when you build your app on that bad information, it's going to break or it's not going to work. So if you have this Context 7 MCP, it's going to give you the up-to-date documentation on anything from that perspective.
We got a new segment in the show proposed here where we talk MCPs while we cook carne asada.
Oh, yeah.
But I was going to have a better idea. You should do a little competition where, like, I'm going to throw in a brisket into the smoker. Let's see how many apps I can vibe code in that 16 hours smoking.
Dude, you could totally do that.
Dude.
Well, can't you just
Why are
write
you not
one
doing this
prompt
for team?
that says- Yeah. Sorry, Rodney, go ahead.
I said, why don't we set this up for team?
Well,
Smoke because you weren't here for the fiasco that was smoking a brisket last time, and we're not repeating mistakes again.
Yeah, I kind of left King Bob and Alex
Fiasco. He almost burned my house down, and he doesn't think it was a fiasco.
Now, to their credit, they did awesome.
Not even close. Okay, but then why don't you just prompt it and say, write as many mini apps as you can in 16 hours. Prioritize the quantity over the quality.
Yeah, so that's actually that you say that, Sarah, because now the next iteration is going to be your full-on agentic vibe coding now. So now instead of me just talking to Claude Code and say, here's what I want to build, you're going to be able to do this agentic harness where you have a orchestration one, and then you have an agent that's going to develop your backend. You're going to have an agent that's going to, you can have a suite of agents to do the research, to then do the development. And so you're going to have more of an agentic flow, and that's coming anytime now.
My husband, go ahead.
Yeah, no. So it's going to be kind of fascinating how this is going to morph into.
Yeah, I'm going to repeat a story my husband shared with me about a guy, right, who kind of was doing that, said, hey, go out and find all these small businesses that don't have websites.
Yeah.
Research them, build them a website, contact them.
How do you research
tell them how they
can
pay for their website, register their domains, do all, and it just takes care of all of it.
Yeah, Lena and I were looking at some stats this morning. 36 million small businesses are out there. 54% don't even know what AI is right now.
Yeah. Which again, to us seems crazy, but that's because we're in it every day. It's like, but that's not a bad business idea, Sarah, because you call that what we call that local optimization or local something.
Yeah. So he's just got 5 MacBooks apparently, possibly just all hooked up, right? Running this process, just doing it all. And all he does is just look at his bank account and go, cool.
Yeah. Where are you at with speaking of something very similar to Sarah's, right? Where are you at with OpenClaw?
I have not. I understand OpenClaw. I've started to tinker a little bit with OpenClaw. OpenClaw is fascinating, and you're seeing the other big guys start to release their versions of OpenClaw, right? So Anthropic is releasing their kind of version. So they just released Dispatch, which is on the phone to your desktop. So that's going to be the next shift, I think. So OpenClaw was such a big shift in how agents are being used that everyone is trying to replicate that now. So all the big guys are going to have their own version of OpenClaw to be able to allow them to live on your computer.
Yeah, what does he call his NemoClaw or something like that?
Yeah, NemoClaw. Yeah. NemoClaw. Yeah, so they're all going to be versions of this. The thing is you got to have the security figured out, because that's just
which is what NVIDIA is working on for their part.
Yep. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, these Mac Minis, man, they're hard to find. But
Right.
But you don't need one. I mean, it's crazy. I was like, I don't know why. I know you have like 40.
you know, I get one every week.
You're on a subscription plan. Amazon subscription. Send me a Mac Mini once a week.
I bet Alex is like on the leaderboard of the Apple fan club / gets everything,
But that's the
early
thing
access.
about, Alex, so you were asking about, how is he going to make you a millionaire? But it's going to be a mine the miners kind of situation, right? It's going to be invest in that hardware, because no matter what, you need that hardware. You need that energy infrastructure.
Yeah.
Alex has the whole Apple museum in his house. That's probably worth that.
I know I should just sell all my old computers and just buy a whole bunch of new ones. I have solar panels. I have 31 solar panels. I'm not killing any grid.
Not to mention, and we have to mention this again, he has his neighbors to steal power from.
That was when I lived in San Diego, dude.
You're still doing it. I'm convinced you're still doing it. New neighbors, same problem.
You'd be surprised. So I don't do this, but I got to be careful with you, Ronnie, because you all know how to twist my words. But where I live out here in the boonies, a lot of people that moved out here in the early 2000s, they were like drug lords and drug people. So many houses, and just like 2 weeks ago, they just found a new one where they bypass the power company, and they just get free electricity to power all the stuff to grow all their drugs. And I'm like, how is that still like 3 or 4 of the houses on my block used to be drug houses?
Explains a lot. No, I'm kidding.
Still power from drug lords.
King Bob has the best advice.
Yes. Try to avoid that.
Can't be him joining though, right?
Surely Lena has been doing some vibe coding.
Lena has, so I've assigned Lena. So it's an interesting thing you bring that up. Let's bring it back to Atlassian's world. We're doing our Forge workshop at Build It Together, and Lena's leading that up. And Lena's like, what's the point of learning Forge at this point? Because you can just vibe code your way through it and let the Forge technicalities be worried by cursor or whatever you want, right? Like you don't have to worry about the technicalities of how to Forge. You just tell it, this is what I want for Jira, and it'll go build it. And so you don't have to worry about the Forge lint and all that other crap that comes with Forge.
That's exactly what I just built, because I didn't want to go through all that hassle. I'm like, hey, LLM, here's what I want to do. And then let me see, I can share again.
Nobody's checking anything vibe coded, Bob. Are you reviewing your code? You're not, right? It's impossible. It's too much code.
I do.
All right.
You haven't vibe coded anything then.
Throw my screen back up there, producer.
But the question's to Ed though, right? Like you're not checking your applications. You physically aren't going through all your lines of code to double check everything.
No, I will do on certain things. If I know that there's been issues in the past on, hey, what's going on here? Oh, here's Forge vibe. Yeah. So here is my Forge vibe. So it's an MCP server that has 8 structured tools that helps Cloud Code build Forge apps. I was like, I don't want to code this. I just want you to build this based on what I want to do. And it went out, and it's like, I have the Forge MCP server, and then literally here's what all I have to do. It's like, I just tell Cloud Code to go build this, and it's going to call the MCP server, Forge MCP server, and then the MCP server with my tools that have the scaffolding project and everything, and literally go through and do that. And I can do it for Confluence. I can do it for, so basically what Lena just said is exactly, and these are my, the templates. So for Jira issue panel, a Confluence macro, Jira trigger, these are the templates from the Forge that we can utilize. And so, like to Lena's point, I didn't want to get deep into the Forge stuff because I know that the documentation is there. And then all I have to do is essentially, let's see here. I think it is, I was trying to find
Man,
that.
Apple better start making some more Mac Minis here.
I know.
I mean, after me and Ed and Bob steal them from Alex's office.
Yeah.
Put them
So
up on the black market.
this is the architectural of what I just built, what I vibe coded. This is how it works. So this is my MCP. Claude Code is my MCP client, okay? And because it's got access to the bash commands and everything. And so it's going to go access the Atlassian Forge MCP server to get the documentation on what I want to do. Then it's going to be like, hey, here's the tools to do that. And then it's going to generate the whole Forge application and the package and then deploy it.
I've got a dumb question.
Yep.
So we've said, hey, go check my code, make sure my code's working. How do we know our results? Right? How do we know that those actual numbers and those outputs are correct? So we got the code right, but maybe it's doing something.
So like maybe the code review is like the code review is wrong.
You gotta know, right, Ed? We keep talking about each other.
Is that your question, Sarah? That how do we know? Like, hey, we did a code review. How do we know it's right? Or
So we did a code review. So in theory, our code is right. But now we're seeing on your screen, right? Hey, there's this many pages. There's this many comments, etc. How do we know that there's accuracy there?
Oh yeah, because
that's what I'm saying. You as the creator need to know intuitively what you wanted, so you can check it yourself.
Yeah. Because what I did was when I created that vibe coding application, what I did is that I actually went into my Confluence instance or my Jira instance and said, hey, because my application created these guys. And then I went in and said, hey, to my Confluence application.
You said, hey, Confluence.
I said, hey, Confluence, and I
I
didn't add these comments. I had them add the comments so that I know that when I tested it, that when on the comment audit, it pulled these up. And so I was like, okay, I can verify what I'm working. You can also write test cases, right? So if there's specific functionality that you want to test, you can write test cases. Again, you can have the LLM do that. Say,
you can tell it to write some test cases.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just to verify that functionality.
Yeah, because I think about, just even the idea of a JQL filter, right? You write a JQL filter, you get results, but then you don't know unless you go back and check. Yes, these are the results, right? These are positives, these are negatives. Because I keep thinking about, okay, so somebody sees this, and then my brain is going, ooh, let's create some dashboards, right? Let's go out there and then create these dashboards. And then we all know what happens when dashboard data is either built on the wrong concepts of that data and or displays the wrong data, and then decisions get made.
Yep.
Right. And I believe there was an article not that long ago, right, where somebody's like, oh yeah, company changes strategy based on AI that they later find out is maybe not entirely accurate.
Yeah, but again, to the Rodney's point at the beginning, like if someone is slightly dangerous, they kind of know that, oh, we need to go check and make sure that what I just wrote is actually working. And my worry is that, a lot of people using these no-code applications are just putting stuff out there, and they don't know that, they don't know how to check certain things. They may have features that don't work as they should work, and that could lead to issues down the road. So I think they'll get there, but that's the kind of the worry right now.
Apple's got a 18-week window right now for their Mac Minis.
18.
August 10th delivery.
You really don't need one.
So, folks, if you guys are going to be doing some OpenClaw, you better get started today. Put your orders in today.
What about those new? Have you gotten one of the new Macs?
I have a couple Mac Studios that I plan on using, and I just got a 5080 RTX last night or this weekend.
Do you have more Macs or more conference swag items?
Ooh, that's probably 50-50.
I feel like Alex has a direct line to Tim Cook.
Tim Apple.
Or maybe just Alex Apple, huh?
Maybe. Did you guys? Oh, you missed it. So Rodney would have seen this. Maybe you left too early. So for the ABS or the Atlassian Builder Summit, the hotel put a sign for the breakfast to tell people where to go, where the breakfast was at. And instead of putting like Atlassian breakfast, they put Atlassian breakfast. They put ALESian.
Now I
Atlassian.
understand. Was that Rob Heen who put that?
No, well, I don't know. Somebody wrote it,
No.
but yeah, it was,
Somebody created a Slack channel recent, or no, it was Daryl Lee created the Atlassian Slack channel, and I didn't get it, but
he would have seen it. So Atlassian
Yes.
was what the lady wrote on the sign.
yeah.
Have we,
Oh man,
have we confirmed Rodney's still at the hotel?
which hotel?
The one where his face fell behind the file cabinet?
No. I'm told that this week we'll get additional information, but maybe somebody's got to go to the Sheraton and check it out. It's on the first floor. Is anybody staying at the Sheraton coming to Team 26? If so, we got a job for you.
Yes.
I mean, in all technicality, I guess we could just do a little field trip. It's on the first floor, so we can just knock on the door. Like, we need to look behind your bookshelf here.
There's nothing sketchy about that at all.
This year, because and I'm already knowing that this is going to be the case. So this year we're making mugshots of Sarah.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I heard it. You told me when we were in Barcelona. How come Sarah wasn't flying around?
Teasing. Okay, I want to know what's the biggest rookie mistake to avoid.
So
Vibe coding.
Not monetizing.
yeah. So you guys saw that I did a hackathon, right? And I built that.
Yeah.
That.
How much money? I'm still waiting for we're 60 minutes.
I coded that. It was a purely mobile app, and I'd never.
Yeah, which Apple's
released a
not going to
mobile
kick
app
out of the
before.
ecosystem. Did you see that?
No.
Apple's kicking out vibe coded apps out of the App Store now.
I think mine's still in there.
Well, next step is we got to figure out how to make money.
Yeah. So again, I think to Sarah's point, there's going to be so much stuff coming out. What is going to be the valuable stuff people will actually pay for? And I think that's going to be the differentiator. You got to solve the right problem for the right people in the right way, kind of thing.
A lot of it's now, if you play your cards right, though, a lot of it won't even enter the enterprise. A lot of it's going to be local.
Yeah. Local, or like I said, again, you build your little portfolio of things that you have built that have helped you, barbecue app, whatever, hackathon submission, and you build your own little portfolio that you can show people, and then, see that you understand, how the vibe coding works and how you can deploy it and everything. So I think that kind of helps you with your new way of working / resume.
Yeah. I think if you're an employee, you better be vibe coding, and not even vibe coding, but you should be using AI and understanding how you can use AI to make you a better employee.
Correct.
On the daily. And if you're on the entrepreneurship side, like, there's no better time to be alive.
Yeah. If you're an employee, the AI should take away the stuff you don't like from your job and expand the part that you do like. In theory, is what it should be like. So I don't like filling in Salesforce stuff. Can I automate that somehow?
Any forms.
Yeah, kind of thing.
Which is great, says a Jira administrator. I hate filling in forms when Jira is just one big form.
Yeah.
So Sean's starting a new business. He's teaching you how to vibe code for $50,000.
Yes.
Oh, what a time! What a time to be alive.
I have this feeling Sarah's going to go vibe code a couple apps tonight.
No, I have no, because I'm very overwhelmed, right? Because everything is possible.
Yeah.
And when everything is possible, like, where do you even begin? Right.
Well, you start with your biggest problem point, Sarah. You figure out how to vibe code your way. Like, you need to get OpenClaw to manage your husband. And you need
No, he's having so much fun. He's got a relatively new position in introducing AI and just transforming the work. Has the potential to transform the work with his company, and it's exciting and also intimidating, right?
So here's Sarah, you asked the question on some newbie advice. Do not get shiny object syndrome, because it is so easy to build things that you can overbuild things, and I'm guilty of that. Like, you should have the minimum, either the MVP or the I prefer the simple, complete, and lovable is the new term. Like, what's the smallest thing that you can build that people will love and use, and then build on top of that. Because it's so easy to be like, oh, well, I can just add this feature in like 5 minutes. Oh, let me add this feature, and it'll snowball, and then
you end up with Jira. I can just keep
ladies and
adding.
gentlemen, that's it. We're done. We're done.
We just figured out that's why Atlassian stock is down. Thank you, Sarah.
Well, somebody wrote it the other day, and it's become a recurrent theme in my head right now. Was the keep it simple but not too simple, and I was like, that's the perfect simple statement, right? Make it simple but not too simple.
I'm going to vibe code an app to monitor Rodney.
Yes, he's probably got some other apps, right?
The smoking business has to have some ripe innovation in here. I mean, we're still doing it caveman style.
Yeah. So, you got
wood, you burn the wood, you use the smoke to cook the meat, Sarah.
I'm making cigarettes over here. I'm like, what? Oh, yes, dude.
We got to keep something sacred, man. We can't bring AI into the barbecue.
No? Can you imagine the perfect brisket every time?
That's no fun.
It wouldn't be perfect.
It would be for a complete newbie who's always wanted to make the ultimate brisket.
No, it would be. I would argue you could get it consistent, but consistent doesn't necessarily equal perfect, because it's going to be people's different tastes, right? Like, yeah.
If every pork chop was perfect, we would not have hot dogs.
And
I like that. Right. If there weren't all these other pieces, then we can't do that.
I found a small little Traeger for like $550, and then I remembered Ed doesn't like pellets.
No, they're fine. Pellets are fine. They're fine.
What gets you inside and smoking something is fine.
Correct.
Oh yeah, Sean's in Vegas.
I believe I actually stole that from Ed.
Yeah. Whatever you're going to use the most is the thing that you should use.
All right. Well, our one paid member who's on the channel here wants us to wrap it up. Folks, with that reminder, don't forget that there's membership opportunities in this channel. help us buy AIMOP.com. We need $30,000.
Yes.
And speaking of update events coming up, we're starting a study session soon, aren't we, Alex?
I don't know. I just show up.
Yes, we are. We are partnering up with Rob Heen to do the ACP 220. We'll be starting very soon. I'm sorry, but I'm a little. You will be taking. You just don't know it yet. Because you always say, I won't do something, then you end up doing it.
Every time.
I can't take it in person anymore. I don't want to do it with... Never mind. Wrap it up. Bob, Sean's got to go sneak into an expo.
So keep an eye on that. And as we always say here at the Jira Life, we didn't choose the Jira Life. Jira Life chose us. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for listening to the Jira Life. Our hosts are Alex, Dr. Jira Ortiz, Rodney, the Jira Guy Nissen, and Sarah, #IBelieveSarah, Wright. Our producers are Robert King Bob Wen and Lena Ortiz. You can catch us as we record this podcast live every Thursday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on YouTube at the Jira Life. Be sure to join us and the other Jiramigos of the Peanut Gallery each week to ask questions, add your comments, and tell us what you're up to. If you can't join us live, you can still catch the replay on YouTube. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell while you're watching. You can also find us as a podcast on Apple iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. If you think this podcast deserves a rating, it would be much appreciated, as it will help others discover the Jira Life. Because we didn't choose the Jira Life. The Jira Life chose us. Thank you to Revise for backing us up and making the Jira life possible.